Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
Welcome. This is the Sports Trapp Podcast. My name is John Trapp. And as always, my man, Khoa, on the ones and twos. How you doing, bro?
Good, bro. What up?
Hey, man. All-Star Weekend just happened.
Yo.
What do you think about how that all went down, man? You like it so far?
All-Star Weekend was dope, man. This was a special one for sure. You know, I mean, all circumstances. But yeah, hosted in Chicago. Man, it was dope. You got to see the game?
Yeah. Let's get, I wanted to talk a little bit about the All-Star game. I want to talk about how, man, they coming for the Astros again. Man, every decision that's been coming out, whether it's by
should we censor this, dude?
Everything, is if we open our mouth, if we apologize, if we do this, everybody's coming. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody, is just so. It's just such a big topic in the sports world today that everybody's on from one end to the other end. We just want to give our take. We want to pump the brakes a little bit. I don't know, man.
Well, we do have some highlights in Houston sports, though, right? After this weekend,
man.
at least.
Finally. Can we get some good Houston? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to say it that bad. We have good players on the Houston Texans. I'm not saying that. But what we see in the XFL from the Houston Roughnecks have been, at the very least, exciting, good football compared to the rest of the XFL. And man, to me, we're one of the favorites. We actually
MVP.
2-0.
MVP.
I think there's only one other team that's 2-0 at this point. So JP Walker was already chanting MVP for JP. Or no, I'm
PJ.
sorry, PJ, man. Hey, listen, man. I keep wanting to say
Dyslexia
Paul
is a real
Walker.
thing.
Right. How'd you know?
Anyway, that's the most diagnosed. It's the most diagnosed disorder in like the world or the states amongst.
Is it? I don't know, man. It's like
people think it's ADHD, but it's actually dyslexia.
Oh, is it? I don't know, man. Because
you're living proof, my friend.
Yeah, I like I just did, JP. But I want to get into the XFL a little bit of we'll touch on the NFL free agency and see how that's gonna go. Tom Brady to said team. We talked about it last week, but
man, no.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. If you tuned in our show before, thank you again. Once again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit that notification button, share with your boys. Share. We like to big up H-Town, big up Texas, man. We Houston boys through and through, but we get a little national take, and we try to be as unbiased as possible. So, let's just get into it. NBA All-Star Weekend just happened, man. Kobe Bryant tributes. I saw all kinds of stuff. Magic Johnson did something. They even changed the uniforms. One team, I think Team LeBron had number 2 for Gigi, and then Team Giannis had 24 for Kobe Bryant, which was really, really cool. When I first even started tuning into the game, I was like, hold up, 2 LeBron. It clicked.
It was a little harder to keep up with, who the players were. I thought everybody was like number 2. They're all number 2. And then
But
they're all number 24.
isn't Kawhi Leonard number 2?
No, Kawhi's number 2.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was like the first.
So it tripped me out. And I was like, it's Kawhi. Oh no, it's not Kawhi. But to be fair, actually, especially in that first half, man, Kawhi was going off, and he was actually the one touching the ball probably the most.
Hey, we got to give special shout out to ex-Houston Rocket. Chris Paul balled out, man. So
That's true.
I know we kind of gave him
The
a hard time
alley-oop
last year.
from Russ,
Right? He fought what?
yeah.
And that was cool because it was Russell
was
Westbrook,
Russ, yeah.
That whole connecting. I actually like the fact that they got together, through practices and huddles and all that stuff. That you got to see all 3 of them next to it, and there was no ill blood, which
I kept hearing people thought that they were like, oh man, yeah, they're not going to pass to each other,
Right.
or they're not going to talk to each other. They're going to be. I was like, dude, come on, you saw it there, so that was proof. And then afterwards, of course, everybody was like, I don't know Chris Paul could dunk. Even all the players and teammates and stuff. So
they had an
funny,
interview at halftime, and she asked hey, we didn't know you could do that. He's like, yeah, just stay tuned. Maybe you might get some more. And she's like, oh, you mean you're gonna dunk another again or something? And he's like, hey,
just watch and see.
Just
watch and
pump
see.
the brakes, pump the brakes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was cool, man. I actually didn't think he dunk. No offense, but damn, I didn't think his hammy could do it anymore.
He's proof, man. CP balled out. I was real happy to see that, man.
For sure,
Super
for
happy.
sure. What did you think about the whole the festivities, like what is it, All-Star Saturday, where they have the 3-point contest and slam dunk contest?
Can someone say robbery?
Oh no! Whoa! Hold on, pump the brakes.
I mean, I think that's a popular opinion right now. And I got to be honest, I agree. I think it was real close. It was I'm talking about the slam dunk contest, and it went down to Aaron Gordon versus Derrick Jones Jr. In the final rounds, and it was, man, it was really good. I wouldn't say it wasn't like top all time, all the dunks, but it was. One thing I'll give Derrick Jones was he was so clean with it. I don't think he missed the first dunk. Maybe one of his dunks.
You know, I was talking to a buddy of mine just now, and I said, basically, I was like, I don't watch the slam dunk contest anymore live. I wait till all the...
I usually don't either, but I did this year.
But I didn't know that they had changed the rule. And there's a lot of rule changes, and we'll get into that, too, as far as the All-Star game itself. But I didn't know they changed the rule where you could only do it one try. If you miss that dunk, you get one more try.
Oh, is that what it is?
So the second try is like, it's it. And if you miss that one, you just basically... But...
I do like that because
right.
I hated when
that.
Dunkers would have like 6-7 dunk attempts, and I mean, also though at the end of the day, even without that rule, like that as a judge, that should still hurt them. It's like, come on,
right?
I've watched you try the 6 times now. I know exactly what you're gonna do. So when you actually do it, the effect of it is like kind of worn off. So it hurts them either way, but it's just like agonizing as a fan and as a viewer just to be like. Just to sit there and watch that, which sucks.
So you mentioned something about a robbery. And here's what I'll say to that, because the last dunk was impressive. It's Aaron Gordon jumping over 7'6" Taco Fall.
7'5". Taco Fall.
7'5", yeah. Okay, so honestly, he didn't clear him.
He didn't.
But he got up there. Don't get me
that.
wrong. He got up there. But the other guy,
Derrick Jones Jr.
Derrick Jones Jr. He didn't necessarily win it on that dunk, but throughout the whole contest, he had the best dunks. He did this one between the legs, reverse 360, not a regular 360, a reverse 360 between the legs, pump, slam back. I was like, one of the greatest dunks I've ever seen. One of the greatest.
Think
dunks.
so?
It was on the level of Vince Carter.
Whoa, bro.
That
hell
one dunk.
no.
Oh, come
You saying
on.
some fight words you don't bring.
Oh, see,
VC
I wanted to ask you.
No.
Compared to that year,
There is no
Steve
dunker
franchise.
No.
Ex-Houston Rockets, shout out. Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter.
No way. The only case you can make for that is MJ and Dominique. That's the only case of a dunk contest.
Way back.
Well, I mean, maybe that just holds a lot of special place because of the time that I was really getting into like basketball and NBA. But then that one, I think universally like was the pinnacle of what the dunk contest was, and the actually like the amount of talent.
But then like you said something about this dunk contest. That dunk contest, and I think I want to say, what is that, 96 or something like that?
What?
No. Well, with Tracy McGrady's
2000.
2000.
I think.
Dude, that was so clean. Like every dunk was made. I think franchise maybe
and
missed
that's what's
like
been kind of
Other
lost.
than that, exactly. That's why I stopped watching it.
And then it got to a point where it was just too much theatrics.
Right.
You know, with the jumping over the Kia Soul, and like even with like like I love Dwight Howard and all. I remember when what was it, the 08? That was a cool moment when he really like came out of Superman.
Yeah,
he put the sticker on the backboard. He put so he kind of brought that back. That was really cool. I know he had a whole story of like Kobe was helping Dwight with like the dunk contest and stuff. I didn't really get to see what he was, well,
he had an interview and he said that he's doing a story of all the moments that he had, like I guess a theme of all his best dunks. So that's why you saw him pull out the cape and the you know, the Superman costume and stuff like that. But you could tell he had lost something. Like he wasn't Dwight Howard back in yesterday.
Yeah.
Like he remember when he first did the Superman, he jumped from the half court.
Yeah.
I mean not half court. The free throw
from
line.
half court.
Right.
We talking Space Jam?
and you could actually see the cape kind of fly off of him.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like in
Not
the
only
air.
that, but I think because that one he did two hands, and if you go back on that one, he didn't really even dunk it. He kind of just really threw it in there. I don't think his hands ever really even touched the rim. He really just tossed it in there, and it happened to hit the perfect, the perfect part of the rim where
But even then, it was impressive because his entire head was above the rim. So
it's definitely so
let me
impressive.
ask you, best dunk, your favorite dunk. I already gave you mine.
So my favorite dunk was Aaron Gordon's before his last attempt. It was the first after they started doing the whole like tiebreaker or whatever. It was that one where he basically did the one on 360 I guess windmill, I guess you would call it.
Yeah, off the side.
Off of the side of the
that was
off the backboard.
he got
and you
it
know
so clean.
So he went second, right? And I remember I was watching it and I was calling the dunk before that Derrick Jones Jr. did. I was like, I think this is going to be the best dunk in the entire contest. The one that Derrick Jones Jr. And he did a great dunk. And I think that was the one that you were talking about, the
reverse 360,
the reverse one, or another one. Which to be, this is maybe another thing that, depending on how you look at it, either takes away or adds to it. Like I think all of his dunks were under the leg. It just kind of got a little bit like the variations.
Oh man,
yeah, it was.
I thought Aaron Gordon was more repetitive because he did a couple dunks that he did back when he won it.
And maybe and that going back and look at it at when that one, of course, when he lost to Zach LaVine, he did that one. It was reminiscent of a dunk that he did then. So both were impressive, but I say that was still equally as I was thoroughly impressed watching it live and watching it back. I was still. It was just so clean. It seems like too easy for him.
Here's my main takeaway from it. Finally, we got it back. Like this is the slam dunk contest that everybody wanted. This is what we, as kids, when we grew up and we watched the slam dunk contest and we watched Vince Carter, like you said, you can reminisce, Michael Jordan, Dominique. This is what those moments. This is when like we're not getting the watered down version of what the All-Star game or weekend festivities are.
Yeah.
This is what everybody was tuning in to watch, and we finally, for some reason or another, whether it's contestants or what, we got it right.
Well, and you could make that, and I think what's really beautiful about it is that you can make that argument, not even an argument really, but 3-point, slam dunk, and the All-Star game,
all of them,
actually came down to the wire, was decided basically by a point or a play, whatever. And I think that's what it's supposed to be about. And it's so many times in the past 10, 20 years that, the game has been a blowout. The 3-point contest has been blown out by one or so player. Right. And then the dunk contest has been either one-sided or it wasn't competitive or too many misses or whatever.
Right. Buddy Hield wins it on the last shot versus Devin Booker, right? That was in the very least, kind of like a Larry Bird type shit, like when he wins it on the last shot. But Larry Bird was so clean with it because he shoots and he kind of like leaves his hands up and walks off,
Yeah.
So it kind of reminded me of that.
That was super cool. Shout out to Calvin, who's been on the podcast before, because his pick to win was Trae Young.
He did.
And if you watch 3-point contest, Trae Young went first and put up a dismal 15 points.
That means he hit 5 shots, if that.
No, yeah, he hit more than that, but it was just tough because he's the first, so he had to really break in the rhythm of it, and of course everyone else is like, all right, well that's the bar, and everyone just shattered it after that.
That's always hard to beat.
It's tough. So shout out to Trae Young.
Speaking of the All-Star game, man, the one thing that I think everybody was worried about was the rules that they had changed.
That format change.
So the first quarter,
I'll be honest, I didn't understand it I mean, I understood what they're saying, but it was just I didn't get the point of it, and I didn't get how it would translate pretty much until we saw it happen.
Right. Exactly. So
I was still waiting. I was like,
whenever
how
I
is
read
this
it,
gonna?
right.
Yeah.
Whenever I read it and I saw the format, the way it still wasn't, it was convoluted to me. It was like a lot of wording that you just like you needed to see it in action. So when you actually saw it in action, first quarter, who wins, whether it's LeBron or Team Giannis, their wins, they go to a certain charity, right?
Yeah, it's like 50,000 to the charity of their choosing that they chose beforehand
For every quarter,
for each one.
right?
Yeah, for each quarter.
So every quarter starts like 0-0, and the winner gets to the charity of their choosing, right? So when the start of the fourth quarter, you add 24 points to the winning team when you tally all the quarters together. So from 24, I want to say Team Giannis had 133, and so you added 24 points. They changed. They take out the clock.
Yeah.
I was looking for the clock. I was like, how much time is left in the fourth quarter?
I knew about that. Yeah.
And so, but they keep the 24-second. They apparently there's no commercial breaks.
No.
That
was amazing. I was like, they said, yeah, no commercial break fourth quarter. I was like, what? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get up I definitely got up my seat, but I didn't move at all that fourth quarter.
I was plugged in. And not only that, it added so much excitement to they were
when you started seeing defense being played, when you started seeing players charge the refs and throwing up the hands for no calls or bad calls, you're like, wait, is this an all-star game right now?
Right. Somebody's gonna get a technical, but
and that was so refreshing to see, and that's when the first sign of that in the beginning of the fourth quarter. That was when I knew. I was like, okay, I get it. This is a good thing because this is when it's competitive, and that's exactly what everybody's wanted for. I mean, for any all, you know what I mean. You talk about the Pro Bowl, you talk about MLB All Star and NBA, and it's like it's fun. Like the idea of it is fun, but no one ever really comes to show out. And finally, we get what the people want, and it made a good show, man.
So us being Houston boys, what'd you think about Harden's performance in the fourth quarter?
I thought it was good, man. I'll say that one call was
charge
fucking boo boo.
Yeah,
I was like, are you kidding me? And it was like the latest fucking call.
But
but it was like such a classic Harden moment where he gets that. Of course, the defender falls back and he just takes a slow ass step back. He just stands there. I can just imagine in his brain just like like wait for this. And, throws it up, makes it, and then like mid shot is when they call the foul, and I was like, are you kidding me? You just see fucking Kyle Lowry on the floor like, yeah, and I was like, fuck you, Kyle Lowry.
Ex-Houston Rocket.
Yeah, god damn, man. Kyle Lowry was, I would say though, I mean, to his defense, he was going off. Like defensively for sure. I mean, he was on Harden and on whoever he was guarding for sure. I think there was one point it was like Lowry and on Harden or not Harden, on James. I was like, on LeBron. I was like, wait.
I just think he was doing too much. Like
well, and that's what cost him the game.
Exactly.
Because that was the fall the foul that was called on AD whenever he was going under the rim and LeBron passing the ball. And Kyle Lowry was holding on him, and then they called it. And then of course AD makes that second free throw.
And he
said he missed the first one on purpose. He's like, yeah, I missed the first one. I told the guys I'd miss the first one just to make it exciting.
Yeah, no.
I don't know if he really did, but I wanted him to miss both just so someone could, just miss the second one, get the rebound, and really get that dunk or three-pointer or whatever.
Actual shot.
Actual shot.
It wasn't a free
don't
throw.
win it on a fucking free throw. Yeah.
I grade Harden's performance in the All-Star game, especially in the fourth quarter, about a B. He could have had an A. You know why? He didn't.
The fucking free throws.
No.
Oh, it was before that. He missed those free throws. I think in the third quarter.
That was a weird moment.
He missed 2 for 2. I was like, bro, you're the best free throw shooter in the league. How you gonna miss 2 in the All-Star game? What the hell?
I don't think he's the best free throw shooter. Is he?
Well, it's on record now. I don't know.
So no, but he had a clean layup to win the game, and he passes out the layup.
Oh, that's right.
I was like, "What are you doing?" LeBron James was like, "Bro," he had that one moment where boy shot this. He called the timeout. They didn't have a timeout in the finals. what's his name?
What are you talking about?
That moment. In,
Yeah.
But that was like a hardcore game.
J.R. Smith. Yeah.
J.R. Smith.
That's right.
But he went up to Harden and he was like, oh, "Come on, what are you
fucking
doing?"
infamous look.
But he did it in jest, like he was joking. But
No, nothing's as bad as that JR moment, bro. Nothing is. It was funny. JR came out. Well, he's talked about it since, but he talked about it on another podcast. I think it was this one. It was I don't know if you've watched any of them. It's called All the Smoke. It's a Showtime.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
one hosted by Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson.
Yeah.
Bro, that is a fire podcast.
yeah, I'm watching actually the one that they did in their All-Star break with Kevin
With
Garnett.
KG.
So,
I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. KG.
Yeah, I actually
KG
just caught up and watched the Kobe episode because they actually did a Kobe episode maybe like a month or so ago
Yeah, I watched that one.
at like Kobe's office, and it's funny because in the shot of Kobe behind him is like a little desk, and you see his Oscar and his Emmy.
See,
Right
I
next to each
didn't
other.
watch it. I didn't know that. I didn't
Yeah,
realize that.
yeah.
But, I listened to it.
I will say just real quick too, the format change of this All-Star game was suggested by CP.
CP3?
Uh-huh.
No, nice.
And CP, there's a great clip of him talking on some podcast or some show, and it was about him having a conversation with Kobe, how for the longest time they've wanted the All-Star game to be competitive. And you know how Kobe still, even when he plays on it, he still considered it to be competitive. Why you saw in past ones he's still balling out, taking 40-something shot attempts. There's a good clip about that. Someone talking about that too, where it's like, how many shot attempts you take? And Kobe's like, and someone said, 19, and Kobe's like, I took 47. I was like, it doesn't matter. Like you go out to win. He's just that fierce of a competitor. But anyway, the All-Star game has been kind of like blah as far as competition wise.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, so I think in honor of him, CP was like, hey, he went to Adam Silver and suggested, hey, I suggest a format change. I think this will make it more competitive. He took some of the inspiration from some basketball tournaments or camps that he's seen across the world that he was a part of.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
and he said that he kind of like he suggested it, and then they kind of worked out kind of their version of it. And yeah, I mean, it was because it was weird when it came out, as far as like when it was released, the information about it, because it just sounded confusing to all of us, I think. But then after seeing it, it just makes sense now.
I want every All-Star
it
game
was
from
beautiful.
now on to be like that.
My God.
The cool Kobe little numerology thing is if you add up all the total of the final score,
Digit by digit,
yeah.
it's 24.
It's 24. That was pretty cool.
It's fucking crazy.
It just
It's just-
there's so much numerology that pops up in all the NBA stuff.
It gets to a point where it's like, all right, come on. He's like, come on. But it is.
But it's like, who thinks of this? And there's somebody
Yeah,
that's kind of like,
yeah.
Analytics,
Yeah.
everything.
Besides the game, I do want to touch on. So, if you watch any of like the intro stuff, they did a fucking fantastic job of showing up and showing out for Chicago. It was beautiful, and it showed a lot of like the history of the city. It had a lot of people that are from there, whether they're artists or actors, other athletes and whatnot. So they had this little segment that kind of just played before the game started. That was a beautiful thing. They had this big old table that was like a scale model build of the entire city.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, of the entire city. And then you had these people that were talking, kind of look over the city and then talk about like you had like Chance the Rapper, you had like Don Benjamin, you had Candace Parker and Obama, and you had like a ton of people talking about it, Dwayne Wade, and anyway, that was fantastic. And then of course into the actual player introduction. So right before they actually did the player introduction was like a little intro from Common. If you haven't seen it, I highly, highly, highly recommend you watch that, because that is a beautiful fucking piece. It's about like 6 minutes long. I did this little custom intro where Common basically kind of rapped, and more so like poetry. I mean, if you know Common, Great rapper, but he's just a beautiful poet the way he talks, and he basically did this whole piece and kind of told a story about Chicago and the people from there. And I think it was titled "If the City Could Talk," and it's kind of from the perspective of like just Chicago itself, and they're from like a little boy that was like growing up there or whatever. It had like a little boy on stage, but they had little like parts talking about Obama, of course, MJ into Kobe. My favorite moment though is when he highlighted D Wade. I mean, it was just a powerful moment. And then right when that part came, they switched camera shot to D Wade, and he had the fucking like biggest like welter like tear in his eye, and he looked down. It was just, man, like that gets you, like if you're a sports fan, stuff like that is what gets you, because that shows like history. And I think for an athlete, I'm not saying I'm in that position at all, but to be recognized, and just to for someone to honor you, not someone, but just to have that recognition from like your city, from someone who's as prolific and famous as someone, and well respected as like Common, of course, just like the NBA in general, and just hometown and your roots. I think that's such a full circle moment, and I think that was a beautiful thing to see. And of course, the tons of Kobe tributes everywhere, but that one was a really, really special moment for me. And go back and watch it. I highly recommend it.
All right. Well, what do you want to transition to? We got a little special surprise. I want to bless some. Sorry. Edit that out. Special surprise or
let's just get into it.
Yeah.
So we'll cut that there and just say like, just go ahead and start now. And be like, well, guys, we're moving on. Special.
Hey, well, special surprise, special guest. I've been talking to these dudes for a hot minute now, trying to get them on the show, and wanted to bless you guys with their presence. Official, one and only Red Rowdies from Houston, Texas. Houston Rockets super fans, Mr. Eddie Rowdy, and the one and only Severe Rowdy. Woo woo! What's up, Mr. Eddie? Severe, what's up, baby? What's up, baby?
Brother? What's going on?
Eddie.
Pleasure. Appreciate you having us here.
Hey, scoot up to the mic, or if you want to hold it in your hand.
Got it. Right here. We're good right here. Yeah. Test 1 2 1 2. All right.
So,
Yes, sir.
so Severe, you've been Red Rowdy for how long now?
13 years, going on 14. Long time.
And how long the Red Rowdy's been up and operating?
14 years. There's a couple that have still been there. Roddy Mardi Gras, Roddy Maya, Roddy Ann 1. That's what we call it.
Oh, that's cool. That's
OGs,
cool.
And then they've been from there. I came at the end of the first year. Was a ticket holder before and just hung out with them, and then started the second year.
All right. So Eddie, how long you been doing it?
This is my third season.
How you like it so far?
Man, it's the craziest thing ever.
Yeah?
I'll tell you that much right now, man. Like,
Yeah.
How'd you get started, Severe?
Crazy. I'd seen they tried out, but I wasn't a person that tried out. I just didn't do that, and was the ticket holder. I think it was the year before, or year of, was 2006, and we were playing Utah in the playoffs. It was the first round, I believe. And I was just hanging out with them post game when we had won and stuff like that, and got familiar with them. It was crazy too. The next year I get tickets, but I get it right next to them. First game that I was there, and they were like, "Bro, you need to be."
So,
with us."
just for everybody that doesn't know who Red Rowdies are, they're actually the super group of super fans of
originals in the NBA.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we're the
Yes,
pioneers.
sir.
We're the first. It's
That's
basically like the soccer hooligan group, like Manchester United.
hooligans.
So that's what we are. We're hooligans in the NBA.
That's
Straight up.
awesome. That's
what
awesome.
we are. Yeah.
So, how big is the group?
50 deep. 50 deep.
50 deep. Is that the cap, or is that you can?
That's just how it started, and how it started is Van Gundy was like, the Toyota Center in 2005, I believe, got dubbed the quietest arena in the NBA. So Van Gundy comes and says, "Hey, well, if that's true, I'm gonna put up 25 season tickets and hold an audition, give it to the 25 craziest fans." Well, then McGrady, who was on the team at the time, says, "Well, I'll throw in 25 too." They picked it up the first year and never looked back. It's been, sponsored by Adidas, Reebok,
What?
Bud Light. We're Budweiser right now. Budweiser Red Rowdies.
Oh man, now I feel bad for bringing the Crawford box.
Don't worry, we get that too. It was Bud Light too.
Budweiser, shout out Budweiser.
Budweiser for sure.
But, that's cool.
Whatever. We did that too.
See, I didn't even know that's how it all
That's
started.
Inception. Yeah, that's how it came about, and it was such a good thing, and it was a positive response from the fans.
So when you got the season ticket or
You
the
had to
tickets,
audition for it, and each year, even we were.
hold
even
on. So
veterans.
you have to audition every year?
Yeah, every year.
Every year.
What?
But I've been doing it so long now.
You-
I come up with new stuff. Honestly, we're basically the pioneers of this in the NBA. The Milwaukee have a team now, or a squad.
Yeah, I think the Atlanta Hawks have one too.
And the Hawks and the Jazz did. Jazz was the only one that like straight just ripped off as was the Jazz Rowdies. That's what it was.
What?
Yeah, but
Wow.
they didn't go long, and then the baseline bums there in San Antonio, but they were they weren't sponsored nothing like that.
You said Denver had one too, right?
No, Denver just had a drum line, and they were like Sonic Boom, which is with the Rockets, but like they were playing during defense because we got outlawed to play drums on defense about 3-4 years back.
So
And
this is what you do though. This is you play the drums.
I do. Yeah, I play the drums along the drum line. We have a bass, a snare, a tenor.
What do you play?
We have some tenors.
I am a snare too. I get
Okay.
down, Yeah.
Like, do y'all come up with shit or do y'all just like?
We have already a set for our romp that we do. Yeah, stuff like
So
that.
the way it is just we have our usual chants we do around the whole arena and stuff, and I pretty much just freestyle to whatever we do.
That's our
Right,
snare
right.
guy.
Like,
Brian
So
Hibbins.
y'all,
Pretty good.
y'all, you mentioned the romp. What exactly is the romp?
Just basically like a parade around the Toyota Center.
I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen it where they like just go. It's not outside. It's just
Inside.
The,
One's
yeah,
upstairs,
right.
one's downstairs. We end up at section 114. Walk it in
This is before the game, right?
before the game.
All right.
30 minutes before. That's our call time. We got to be there 6:30 sharp or 30 minutes before the game. And so we get over there, gather, do the romp, come over there, and end up there in section 114. Go to our section.
So basically, once you join the Red Rowdies, you never paid for another ticket again, but you've gone there.
Well, I mean, it ain't just like that. You say you don't ever pay for a ticket, but to become a Red Rowdy, if you get picked as a Red Rowdy, you get one free season ticket.
Okay,
And,
but for you, right?
But for yourself,
Yeah, right.
Hey, they've given out extra before too.
Oh, yeah?
Like if it's sometimes every.
So if I want to be an honorary Red Rowdy,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
It can happen. It can
Got you.
happen.
Hey,
We
man,
got you.
I did your boy.
We got you.
Mr.
you.
Khoa, we
got
go.
you, man. Also, I've been watching the shows as well. My boy C-Rod, I've been watching
There you
you, man.
go,
I like
there
your
you
talk
go.
too, man. You always more than welcome to come with us too, man. We got y'all, man.
I appreciate that,
Yeah,
man. I'm just.
It's an experience to watch it with us. I mean, I'm not saying it's like, okay, we are loud or annoying or something like that. We're just in the game. You know
Right,
what I
right.
mean?
No, but that
we
it
repping our squad.
brings another layer
So
to
people
the-
like to hang around with us and watch the game. You can drink. There's nothing wrong with it.
So do
Yeah,
y'all actually get people that kind of that sit or sitting next to you, your section?
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
get people to
Yeah.
kind of leak in and and start chanting with you?
Of
or-
course. Yeah, we get people standing up. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just that section. I mean, people come and be like, man, I'm in this other section. Man, we want to be in your section over there. So it's fun over there.
So I consider you an OG, right?
I
How
can-
many
I can-
OGs are still around from the inception, or
So-
at least the first year?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Inception too. Yeah, I'm gonna say at least 5. And
Yeah?
that's Rowdy Mardi Gras and 1, Maya, me, and no, maybe 4. Maybe 4. I thought there was 5. So, yeah.
That's cool, man. That's I
Been
actually
here
I
a long
respect
time.
that a lot. That's impressive in
man,
itself.
I
and-
tell you, it's something too because that schedule every year. That's what we do every game.
So you were mentioning something before that you guys actually travel sometimes.
We have, yes. We've traveled in the early years. It was Dallas and San Antonio, and then we ventured off to New Orleans for a good 4 years when we played them, which is more towards the end of the season. But then we've been recently going to Denver, and then there was some Rowdies in Memphis.
Oh, yeah?
For the Memphis game, and then in LA as well.
So,
We had a couple go to.
who is your biggest, would you say, rival personally to you? Where like you think that the most, the Rowdies get the most rowdiest for?
As far as fan base,
Yeah.
oh, man, that's easy. It's always the Laker fans. Lakers and stuff. But, I even have, and I've been to a lot of games in the past. I've been to a lot of games, and not just with the Rockets, but I've been to a lot of Texans games. I was always there on Sunday as well.
Okay.
Some Astros and whatnot. So I've been to a lot of games, and the fan bases, I can name it. It's just the Lakers worse. Cowboys are right there next to them, right? But the Laker fans are the worst. And then right under that is the Patriots, and then Boston. The Celtics. It like goes in that order.
Really? Boston kind of sucks,
and then right below that, too. Yeah. Patriots fans and Celtics fans, but yeah, Boston. Anyways, point being, and then after that, I'd say the Spurs.
Spurs,
yeah,
really,
because it's that
I've actually
rival.
been to a few Spurs games.
Yeah, I've been to some Spurs games.
They're actually not bad fans. Like as far as like
No,
when you go over
no,
there and
no,
I'm decked
no, no,
out
no.
in a Rocket jersey and all that stuff. They treat me fine.
They do like to talk about their rings. So,
I know. Yeah, they be flaunting that. So, favorite Rocket moment as a Rowdy?
Ooh, it was in the early years, and it was when we had that rival with L.A., and it was Yao and them. And and I remember it was in Toyota Center, of course. I had this little drum, and this is the beginning of it. I bought this drum at Walmart. Like it was a little toy drum. It's like I found out about drums later. Like, oh, okay. Anyways, I had this little drum, right? This
funny.
little drum, and I
Started with
maker,
this
yeah.
boy started with a
started-
tambourine.
Yes, right.
Started with a cooking pot.
So it was this little drum, and I started this beat and got the entire place, 18,000 plus people rocking to a beat that I started up.
That's
just
awesome.
one small ass
That
drum.
is
And
sick.
now we do it, with the rest of us, it's drum line, right? But I'm talking about this, and I'm standing on top of the chair, and I'm just looking at this crowd, and I'm just beating my drum and just looking at the whole crowd just rock out. And that was probably, I was there.
That sounds like a chills down your spine moment. Like you feel
that
it
was one of the
all
best-
through your
best
body.
moments, best moments. Yeah,
Well,
we won
what
that
about-
game too? We had won that home game.
What
First
about?
leg.
Oh yeah, you won.
Yeah,
that's
won
what's
home.
up. That's what
we
they won
lost that
'cause of
game
you.
7. Yeah. Yeah, that was a great year though.
That was versus San Antonio or Lakers.
That was the Lakers. That was
Lakers, okay.
Lakers for sure. That was a great one.
So far, what about yourself, Eddie? What's your favorite moment so far?
Oh man, dude, this is my 3rd season, so I haven't seen much like the OG here, but I got a couple, man. Harden throwing down 60,
Oh, yeah.
at home,
That's
breaking
it.
Calvin Murphy's record. That was pretty cool. Joe Green hit a buzzer beater against the Suns one time, and not just that, man. Just every playoff game, as a Rowdy is just. It's just it's just crazy, man. It's just
We're like a family. I'll tell
yeah,
you that.
we're like it's like
Y'all were close
yeah,
knit, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
so
when
it's
you were
real.
when you were bringing
That's how
up
it's gotten. When you get on our squad, it's this common thing of we all love the Rockets. We're all passionate
yeah.
about it, and it branches off from that. We're all shapes, sizes, and colors, man. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
what it is. It's a good networking group too. I tell you, that's been in the sports world as well, but. Just the camaraderie, that we have. We treat each other like, oh, you're a Rowdy.
So,
we
do
cut
y'all
for
do
it.
anything outside, like
Yeah.
whether like
Man,
community?
rowdy
or-
party.
the Rowdy
Parties and
off-season
stuff,
party.
and the
We do,
rowdy-
yes. We do blanket drives. We did a couple this past season already, maybe like 3
Yeah.
blanket drives.
Okay,
We've
okay.
done Houston Food Bank.
Dang.
Yeah, we've been in the community
y'all
doing
are
stuff
real.
like that.
Y'all are like-
oh yeah, we've been doing it over the course of the so many years. And
Right.
whatnot. But like I was saying, yes, we do stuff, and we have a really good off-season Red Rowdy party.
Yeah, I don't know. Y'all want to get into that because I don't want to like.
No, it's great.
They shaking his head like.
it's awesome. It's fantastic.
Yeah, we have shindig.
So let me ask you, if
Get a lot
I
of
wanted
cool
to be
gear.
a Red Rowdy next year, what do I do?
It's an audition, and
How do you find out about the audition?
They put it out on the social
Okay,
network,
okay.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, etc., etc.
So, how big is the turnover? Like, say, do I actually have a chance to go in there and be one of the 50, or is it like it's the 50's locked in already?
You know what's crazy too is, I don't want to go too much into it, but the advertisement of it's not put out there that much. We want it on like the main Rockets website and stuff like that. But that's another story. Anyways, for that point, there's not much that do come out. And Houston does not know the potential of like, man, you got these free season tickets. And back in the day, we used to be real hardcore about, you miss 3 and you're out.
Oh, really?
It used to be like that. You couldn't miss 3 and you was out. But it was just so competitive with that, then because it was, a different time. But now it's a lot of people got working schedules in school. So we have a lot of alternates as well that's come on with picking up Westbrook and stuff like that. That's been really cool, but it's not that hard.
You could put somebody for you.
Oh, there's plenty of people. Just go down the line. I mean, even us, we do. But that's how it is. But that's if.
So if you don't want to go, Eddie, I got you.
That's the thing.
Man,
it goes down to.
I'll take you with me though. It
goes down to alternates. We have.
I didn't know y'all had alternates.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. Well, if you don't make it. They'll take your information, and but sometimes it's the last minute. Like, yo, can you make the game? And if you're able to, and then sometimes they like that. So you're doing your thing, you're loud, you're in it. It might hit you up, and
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah, it's a whole different experience, man.
So,
I've had people go to the game with me, and they're like, dude,
okay,
this is way
okay.
better than buying a ticket, sitting down and watching it, or
for sure. Like my favorite moment was. Tracy McGrady hitting it at the buzzer after like scoring like
35,
13,
35.
in 35 seconds, and me and this Asian guy who never talked throughout the whole game because he was like straight from China, only there to watch Yao. The only reason he was even in the game, and we didn't talk the whole time. But when that was happening, we didn't need language. Yeah. We were like brothers. Like we were like we were holding each other.
Oh man,
that was
at work. I was watching that.
I want to transition into actually what you think about the team as constructed as we are right now. Like we know that CP3 basically got traded out for Russell Westbrook, and how you liking the small ball era that we've started getting into.
Man.
Go ahead, man.
I like it just because Westbrook is he's more athletic, man. Like the way I see it is,
athletic.
Chris Paul. I'd see Chris Paul go into the court and it's like, oh my God, please don't get hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you see Westbrook go into the court and you're like, man, he's about to just run up and down. And he's so fast,
much energy.
dude.
Yeah.
He's
In person,
so
is it faster?
Well, they feed off each other.
They feed off each other. Yeah, they're just.
It's crazy too
energy.
is that I had first when we had picked up CP, I was like, oh man, we have this like now 2-headed snake, just any kind of dagger, just boom, boom, they shoot to the goal, but. After Westbrook even comes in, I'm like, that's the 2-headed snake.
That's the
you
thing.
got two playmakers that are able to puncture, penetrate to the hole.
Puncture the defense. There's all kinds of words for the same,
the
description. It's good.
And I didn't know how to feel when we got Westbrook because,
I was happy.
back then it was like
I automatically became a Westbrook fan.
I did.
Oh, yeah, that's
well,
cool.
it was just so.
We kind of forgot about that. We were like rivals with
OKC,
and
it was just so surreal to me, man.
And
it was like.
I wasn't fond of him.
Had that
exactly. And it was like, man, we used to talk so much shit to Westbrook.
I'm sorry.
It's just like,
here's a crazy fact.
Now it's just like, dude, you're the bomb, bro. You know what I'm saying? Break that paint, baby. Break that paint.
More so, man. Is that, here's a fun fact. It was Westbrook who was the one who got us
to not play on defense.
Not play
drums on defense.
Because when he came to the Toyota Center, he didn't like it. Yeah. And so now, even when I went to Denver and saw that game and they were playing, we're starting to play more on the defense too now because we weren't for a couple of years. But
wow, so that's crazy how he could affect that like that.
Yeah.
The players come in and
it was the organization. They come to us and we're like, yo, y'all got to stop. And I'm like, we've been doing this for years, and then they were like, well, that's not an organizational call. That was an NBA call.
So
the NBA called this now. It wasn't even the organization. They were like, well, we're not even calling that. And
so what is it like when they're on defense?
What it is what we do is we have like beats and stuff, or we'll play along with the PA. When I first came in, it gets difficult. it was 4 minutes a quarter. So the way I like to do it was, we'll play the first 4 minutes of the first quarter, and then, depending on the score, we'll throw it in there, in the middle of the second. But I usually like to do it the last 4 minutes of the second, and then the beginning of the fourth, because everybody's out in the concessions getting their stuff.
Right,
people
right.
are getting back, they're getting all like, getting back to my seat.
Yeah.
I'll be like, hey, man, motherfucker, the game is back on. Like, you better start, being rowdy and
is our
stuff.
fan
I
base.
do think that the
That's our fan
Toyota
base.
Center.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that straight up. That's what it is. That's why we were incepted, because of the fan base.
Yeah.
Right.
And just
But I
the
think-
Rockets fan base.
But
you know.
I think too though, because I've been to the Compact Center or the Summer or whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it, Lakewood Church.
Summit.
Now-
Summit, of
So
course.
I've been there.
Yeah.
And when I went to
Toyota Center.
it just was so big,
Yeah.
so massive that you don't get that energy that's close in and built in
Yeah.
like the Summit or you
Yeah.
know.
And that's
No, I
why we
got
you.
like
It's
to,
the
hallways.
Yeah, that's why we like to throw the drums in there. But when I came in, it was a whole lot different from when he was first in there.
Right.
Excuse me, to where you can play drums on defense. So whenever the opposing team gets the ball, there's no longer drums playing. And if we're on offense and we already did our 4 minutes, then we just yell as loud as we can, which we're already doing. We're loud. We stand the whole game. We're
Yeah, I've
getting
noticed
the
that.
crowd.
Like, you don't
We
sit
do.
hardly.
No,
we sit down like in timeouts. and
Yeah,
stuff.
right,
yeah,
right.
in
Yeah.
the quarters or halftime, you gotta go get a beer or something, food, whatever. So
What are y'all allowed to do when they shoot free throws?
Oh, we hold up our H's. The H is up.
when we
Oh,
shoot
okay.
free throws, yeah.
And
Okay.
some they say.
No,
stuff
what I'm
every
talking about
now
the opposing though.
Oh,
Oh,
just
What can y'all do?
yell our ass off.
Oh, y'all can?
Yeah.
Oh, y'all
Oh,
can?
yeah.
Beating the drum? and
We used
depends,
to. No, we
yeah.
used to. I think we had to cut that out a little bit too.
Yeah, but- So I'll tell you what. One moment that we will do it would be, let's say it's a really close game, and all of a sudden I just so happen to just swing my stick and hit the drum, bam! While they're shooting a free throw to win the game, or to tie it. You know what I'm saying? Like, oops, bam!
Does it get even crazier during the playoffs, or is it about the same?
I guess it just depends who we play in the regular season. Like, what was it, the Utah game that we had a week ago, which unfortunately, goddamn, a buzzer beater. But you know what I'm talking about. But
Yeah,
that
that's
game.
what-
that
let me
game
tell you about that one.
Felt
It
like a
was-
playoff game.
Oh, no shit. Okay.
Yeah, that one was a good-
atmosphere
that was a good
just
atmosphere.
Real good.
That's what's up.
Same with the Boston game, I would say too.
Boston too.
Boston,
You know,
that was a
yeah,
good game.
that was good.
That was
That's
actually the first game that
Sacramento,
I
Utah
saw
games. Oh,
Westbrook
gosh.
and Harden like really,
Yeah.
really. What were you gonna say about Utah?
With the Sacramento and Utah games, those were both those buzzer beaters that we had to watch right in front of our face, which wasn't fun.
right
Like,
there.
It was boom, like we're all hyped up, and it was funny because I actually was walking out of the Toyota Center saying I jinxed that Jazz because I saw it and I said, "Don't let this be." No. I thought it into existence, and that 1.6 seconds.
So it was
fooled
you.
Yeah, it was me. Oh,
It
I
was
walked
you.
out saying it like, that was. I'm taking the L for that one. I thought that up. I was like, "Watch, they're gonna do it." And what did they do?
So what do you think about our chances going into the end of the year, the second half? Like, what do you
my
really
chances are just heart. That's all
Yeah,
I'm saying.
it's
I'm just riding
mean,
with them. Let's do it.
The
you
only
know?
the only thing I can see is the Rockets have always been a team that always clicks after the All-Star break.
Right,
For
right,
whatever
right.
reason, they do.
Me and my
they
boy
do
C-Rob, we
some
kind of like go
games.
back and forth about that
Yeah,
because we always, he gets kind of down on him because
Yeah.
at the beginning, even with CP3, we'd be like a 50-50 team, like
Yeah.
a 500 team. But then like at the second half of the season, man, we'd always improve
Yeah.
so much. Like
And
and
then-
then not only that, we beat the good teams.
Yeah.
The
We're
one
beating good
problem,
teams,
even PJ
yeah.
Tucker brought this up, is we play down sometimes
Yes.
to the bad team.
Yes, and see the
What
I
the
feel,
Rockets do.
I feel like the
It's like
best
a
year we
MO.
had the best chance we had to win a championship was when we took the Warriors to 7.
Yeah, to
Right,
7.
right.
And
The boy.
I feel like
Half
that
game
was
away from
and
That was it, bro.
You
That
know,
was it.
and see those
That
are
was first year for you, though, right?
that was my first year,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I missed those 2 games.
Yeah,
Shout out to my
same
boy
as-
Mike. I know you're gonna see this later. We were at his bachelor party in Cancun.
Oh, okay,
so,
okay, that's it.
You know,
I was
shout out to
there.
him and his wife. But
Yeah, that was
and
tough.
I missed game 5 and 7. You know, I missed Game 5 and 7. The unfortunate thing about them is that they were Warriors fans.
Yeah.
So the whole trip I was with them, and it was like, man, and when I saw CP go down, I was like,
horrible.
that's it. Like
Yeah,
I was like,
Game 6, right?
But
He
it was
came
Game
up
5.
Game
Game
5.
5, and he was there for that.
Oh, yeah, because we were up
Yeah,
there too.
he was. So I can
Yeah.
already imagine how it was in
was
the
lit.
arena, when that
was lit.
happened. It was crazy. We won, yeah, and but man, it was just like wow,
I honestly, if it was, unfortunately, what happened with Kobe,
yeah.
if it wouldn't have been for that
that was
emotional pull that they'll have towards the end of the year, that the Lakers, I think the Rockets are right there. I'm actually gonna go to the Rockets and Clippers game, and I think Clippers are extremely formidable.
It's gonna be a good one to go to.
But I think it's Rockets, Clippers, and Lakers going to be pretty much one of those teams going to win the championship. I like our chances. And no offense to
Rockets,
Giannis, and I'm going to call him out because he said in the All-Star game, he actually said that Harden, whoever Harden was guarding, we were going to give him the ball to.
And he
to,
played great defense.
Hey,
didn't he?
but check this out.
Played great defense.
Giannis talking all that shit, right? How many points did he score in the fourth quarter?
Well, not just that, not even that. He said he didn't want to.
0.
He wanted to pick someone that could pass the ball. Harden has 6 assists. I'm just saying.
Hey,
He
hey,
had
shout out to your boy Harden,
some
baby.
type of assist, baby. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my boy Harden. You know what I mean? Let's go.
So when y'all got to see the All-Star festivities, what did y'all think about the way the All-Star game broke down and the new rules and everything like that?
The rules are rules, but it changed it up. It's a different way.
I like the
I have to
format.
say that the All-Star weekend was a bit more competitive and interesting for the fans. I was. That's right. It was a good game, and like you were saying earlier about the competitiveness of it, and not seeing that in a while, and making it close and good games. It was good for the fans. It was good for NBA.
Yeah.
They needed that, and
For sure.
I even saw it
and-
too, especially that fourth quarter in the All-Star game.
Yeah,
It
it was good. I liked it. I liked the dunk contest, and I'm gonna go on record saying that I felt like it got stolen from.
I think
stolen from him.
Gordon should have won that, man. If you could jump over
stolen,
Taco
man.
Fall, man.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
That was cool. I mean, I'm impressed either way.
Man,
I'm impressed either way.
people say his leg hit his head, but I mean, if you look at the replay, he did
Teabag
not
him.
use no type of support or nothing, and
I heard teabag with you.
that. Well, I mean, whatever you want to call it, you know what I'm saying?
That's funny.
But it's just, that's still
It
ridiculous.
was good though. It was good.
Motherfuckers-
It was good. It was a good, dunk contest. I missed the 3-point one, and I caught the dunk contest, and I just feel like, it was just. I'm not gonna say it was like one of the all-time greats, but it was one that needed to happen. They've just been kind of.
Lackadaisical lately, and
kind of
almost they were talking about doing something else other than for a couple of years, man. They was talking about getting rid of the dunk contest or doing something else instead of. And I think that with the athletes that they have in the NBA, man, it's no excuse to have a lame dunk
Well,
contest.
I heard about something about a one-on-one.
Yeah,
I
that
don't know what
wouldn't
you
be
think
too
about
bad.
that. What
Yeah,
you
no.
think about that? One-on-one.
See, but I think they would get too competitive, and it becomes to the point where a one-on-one could actually become something where somebody can get hurt.
Yeah.
And like imagine Kobe and I don't know, Michael Jordan. Just like imagine one-on-one. None of them would give anything up. Like there would no inch. They would be like nah. And then you could see Michael Jordan slapping the shit out of Kobe's hand and just like touch it or something like that. I just think it would be nice if we could implement it. But what happens if somebody does get hurt? The team's gonna get mad, especially because you're gonna want to see James Harden versus Russell Westbrook, or James Harden versus shoot. I don't even know if they'd even do something like that, but Giannis or something like that. But I like the idea, but implementing it,
especially going into the second half of the season, you don't want any of your players getting hurt. You know what I mean?
For sure. Now I know you guys got to go, and I don't want to keep you too long, but I do want to ask you one thing off topic. If you want to add something afterwards, you can. But since we are drinking a little bit of Crawford Box, representing the H, I wanted to ask you about this Astros, I don't know if it's just a scandal fiasco. I don't even know how to describe it at this point anymore, but it's just every news cycle, everything on ESPN that comes up besides, something big like the All-Star games, it's all about the Astros. Who opinionates, who did what, who said what.
Coming in hard.
As a Houston Astros fan, like, what? How you guys?
Honestly, I don't even pay attention to the noise. And if they ask me, because I am an Astros fan, and nothing can take away. I was in Minute Maid Park for Game 7. We watched it at the viewing party, watch party.
Yeah.
So I was in Minute Maid, when we won that Game 7 and
versus the Yankees,
versus the Dodgers,
Oh, the World Series
at the watch party.
Okay,
Game 7. The World
2017.
Series. 2017. I was there in Minute Maid. They won it. We ran into the streets. We partied. It was a celebration. Take the trophy.
Yeah,
wait, don't take the trophy, but put an asterisk by it. It don't mean nothing to me. You want to say there's an asterisk? Well, go ahead. The
championship is still
there.
there.
Championship was owed to Houston. We needed that as a city. We needed that as everything as a sports fan. So if they want to put an asterisk by it, let them put an asterisk by it. They ain't gonna take away what it did for this city.
Right. For sure.
That came
it's
after.
always gonna be talked about.
I needed that joy in my life at that time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Things
were going that easy, and so
I remember you were saying something about
Harvey coming out of Harvey.
Harvey hit you kind of hard.
So our team needed that, and to further talk about that is just basically this is done. This is done in the MLB. There is sign stealing, and we did go about it in our own way or the ways that it happened, but we're not the first people to do that.
Not at all.
We ain't
not
gonna be
at
the
all,
last
sir.
to do that. And I feel like the media is trying to go after the Astros as far as saying this and that, and you know what? Like the owner said, we just broke some rules, so get over it. That's it.
I'm just surprised it took 2 years. Like if it was going about it that long, like it just took that long.
I'm so confused as far as like where they said they started, where they said they stopped. I've heard that they stopped after 2017, but I've
heard 2018.
In all honesty, okay. So at what point can you do that? In say Game 7 in the World Series, where you can't bang on a trash can.
No,
and it's so funny how they take something as easy to me as say Altuve didn't want to take his shirt off to implicate him that
it was tough.
he was cheating.
Yeah.
And Correa, I do.
My boy's going off.
Yeah, I commend him, but at the same time, it's like.
If I was in his
the more
spot.
you talk, the more it's gonna stay in the news.
True that.
So
true that. But I feel like the man's trying to get something off his chest too. Like,
you're
gonna put me in the spotlight.
You can't really tell him.
I'm going to say something back.
To not to say something that they feel.
I feel like they're
I
just
respect
gonna,
them for it.
They're just gonna feed off of it.
True that.
That's gonna just.
The thing too is that you can come as genuine, as real as you want to, or even be. And there's going to be somebody that's going to pull something out of it and have a different view.
Exactly.
So that's what you just got to live with is that, hey, I'm just doing my shit authentic. And if you feel like you got something to say, well, then so do I.
I feel like teams are just mad that they couldn't come up with this idea to get another championship before we did.
Listen, I think that they've already had.
Exactly.
I think
but everybody's acting like this is the first team to ever cheat. It's like, dude,
that's what I'm saying.
everybody does it. We just did it in a way that.
No, we did it.
We had an extreme way.
Bro, no. Like what we've done.
They find the Yankees and the Red Sox for the same shit, and yet nobody's blowing that up or saying that there's bigger, things to chop on that. Like they're basically throwing the Astros under the bus, and we're the scapegoat for that. And it's done, and now it's going to be probably, or most likely, it will be regulated more. So. Even now that you say too, you're talking about there's going to be some pitches thrown and stuff like that. Well, you know what? Be ready. You know what I mean? Like, all right, fine.
Like,
you know,
armor up.
And what? We can't throw pitches neither.
That's
All
true.
right.
That's true.
That's,
That
that's,
is true.
that's the
That is
H-Town
true.
mentality. You gonna throw it at us? All right,
H-Town,
cool.
hold it down,
That goes-
baby.
It goes both ways. Then you know you're gonna try to do
For
that.
sure, for sure.
Some of your players might go hit up.
Hey, we'll leave it on that. That's a good point. I like that. I like the way.
All right.
Well, fellas, hey, I appreciate y'all coming out.
brother.
That was a good
For
way
sure.
to end that.
For sure, man.
Hey, man,
Sure.
Eddie,
H-Town, Red Rowdies.
my
brother.
boy, Eddie.
Red
You're
Rowdies,
you're
you
my
already
boy.
know, man. You already know.
Thank you so
man.
much for joining us. Blessing
sure.
us with your
Rockets,
presence, man.
Texans,
Go Rockets, baby.
Astros,
Hell yeah.
Roughnecks, they're coming up real quick.
All right, fellas,
right.
I appreciate
Cool.
it. Hey, man, Mr. Khoa, what'd you think, bro? What was that? Like, how you like that, man? Like, I really appreciate them again, Severe and Eddie for joining us and talking a little Red Rowdy talk. And we got to shout out their Facebook group.
Yeah.
it?
So, big shout out to Eddie and Severe Amir. Super cool dudes, man. Love hearing the story. And I didn't even know the Red Rowdies existed for that long.
I know, right?
Man, 14 years. So if you want to find out more about them or follow them, I think they have Instagram and Twitter at Red Rowdies. And Amir also mentioned they have a Red Nation Facebook page, so you can find out more about just like Rockets things going on in the city and whatnot, and probably like the events that they hold that are
Amir
not
got a lot
in,
of clout, man.
right? Man, we got like
Severe,
the king head honcho captain, El Jefe.
That's what I'm gonna start calling him, man. Yeah, no, it was more than I didn't know too much of the history. That's one of the reasons I wanted to have him on the show and stuff like that. I thought that the fact that Van Gundy was the one that started it, and him and Trace McGrady basically initiated it.
Yeah.
And,
I think that makes me appreciate and love it even more. That it was like a very specific, thought out thing that was like from the organization and from our players and coaches.
Right.
That was
It was
like
organic.
a pivotal. Yeah, and then like of course like the input from Russell Westbrook to make that change. You know what I mean? Like the stuff that you do, like it matters. It
where they
affects,
can't drum on defense.
these people and whatnot. And although if you really think about it, it was created because we had a shitty fan base. I guess if you could say that, but you know what I mean.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
We're
Like,
so tame.
the stadium isn't built to keep loud noise in.
I don't know how long you can go and blame the stadium for that.
Well,
'Cause,
the
I mean,
summit
they
was
got-
nice
they
though. You never been.
I have been.
You went to the summit, Campus Center?
definitely.
You've been to a Rockets game?
Yeah.
It was a lot like more, I guess.
Yeah, but you just understand. We
Maybe
had
I
to.
just
We had
remember
to
it
outgrow
differently.
it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, of
No,
course
for
we
sure,
were
for
going to
sure.
go into, but then think about it. That's the norm now. That's the norm out of all stadiums. I'd say that's probably an average
ours is
stadium.
beautiful.
you know,
Don't get me wrong. It's
compared
a
to
nice
even
stadium.
like I was gonna say Oracle, but even Oracle doesn't exist anymore.
Right,
Chase
right.
Center and just all these different arenas. And they all hold about the same amount.
Right,
it was
right.
like 18 to 20 something thousand. So it's like, oh, come on, Rockets. But I feel like if you think about it, when you think of Houston or NBA fan bases, you typically don't think like Rockets as being like one of the rowdier ones as a whole, not the Red Rowdies
Right,
specifically,
right.
but as a whole. And I think that's why that was created.
But
I
they-
remember we talked about this
Right.
in one of our earlier episodes of just like fan bases as far as like how Houston fan bases are, and like how would you describe the Rockets fan base? Remember we talked about how we wish, or at least I personally, I wish that they would stop selling these lower level tickets to all these big companies,
Right.
because then what they do is those companies would just use those as like little gifts and whatnot and give it to their clients or their coworkers or their staff, their faculty. But then so many of them don't actually get used because they're just gifts and they don't see it as anything. And so you look at these games and you look at like the top half of the bowl where they're more of like the nosebleeds are
full.
all filled up.
Right.
But then you watch on TV and you just see fucking empty seats. And it's like, what? That game actually wasn't empty. But if you look based off of those seats,
Yeah, it's
it looks
always like
it-
sold out.
and it kind of makes us look bad, right? And I was like, oh man, like I feel like if you're watching on TV, not being a Houston fan, or even if you are a Houston fan, I was like, I feel like that makes us look bad. It doesn't look like a rowdy environment, because I don't think you think that when you think of Houston Rockets fans.
Yeah. No,
You know?
like they're the type to get in late and leave early. I'll say that unfortunately, but I think as we get better in playoffs and championship or two might help. Fan base and it just listening to them, man, they got so much passion and they added another layer completely to the
No. I definitely respect that. And I think that's what we need.
No,
I
100%.
think,
Yeah.
and it was a smart thing that they incepted and created that, and we're the pioneers. Even that's really fucking cool.
Yeah.
That other stadiums and teams have essentially copied our blueprint to do something like that because other markets might need it too. So it's cool.
Yeah, no, they actually got sponsors and everything too. Like that was pretty cool. Something I didn't know.
Yeah, I'm just waiting. So whenever we can get an audition, just hey, have me and John. We'll bring Chris out too, one game, just like it'd be like our tryout, right?
Right.
It's like let's have us go try out one game, and we'll see how rowdy.
I didn't know they tried out every year. Everybody has to try out.
Yeah.
I thought like you could be basically grandfathered in at some point.
I wanted to ask and see what is the audition process? Like, what is that? Like, are you performing a routine? Or are you like doing a dance? Or are you just, do they tell you? Do they prompt you to do something?
Right,
Are you just like, hey, or they give you a scenario? Like, what would you do?
They come back or ask that question.
No, but
once
that's totally
again,
cool though.
I appreciate you guys. This has been the Sports Trapp podcast with the Red Rowdies. Shout out Severe Rowdy and Eddie Rowdy, man. Once again, we'll have them back as much as they want. I want to transition a little bit. I brought it up with them a little bit, but I wanted your opinion. So Correa is coming out with the Houston Astros, and he's defending Altuve. You have now Justin Turner coming out and talking smack about even the commissioner of the baseball, how his punishment was lax. You've had Cody Buttinger saying that Altuve stole
Bellinger?
not only a World Series, but he stole the MVP from Judge, the Yankee. And, it just seems that Manfred come out and said basically there's no point of taking a title away. So do you think that the Astros should be at the very least stripped of their title?
I mean, I can never say yes to that. I don't think that we should be stripped. Maybe I'm saying that more as a biased fan. I was telling, Amir and Eddie this earlier too. I try to look at things, with a very unbiased lens. Of course, it's more difficult with the team that is your home team and, the one that you support so much. And you never want to hear any this happen to your team. But I still try to just like hold all parties accountable. So, whatever we did wrong, now I'm trying to think, okay, was it justified? And whatever the case may be, how do we make things better? How do we make it better for ourselves? As far as whatever punishments happen to us, can't really decide on any of that, right? So whatever happens will happen. I don't think it personally should be taken away, but no matter what, I think, the championship is tainted, or you say, so, and I think the big argument of why people want the championship taken away is because, it's tainted now because we're all talking about it. Everyone is talking about it. You talked about all the news outlets and all, even, man, not even news outlets, but people that are just casual people that talk about sports on YouTube or on Instagram. Everyone is doing a Houston segment that they probably never would have talked about the Astros otherwise. Maybe never talked about baseball otherwise, but they're doing an Astros segment because they have to get their 2 cents in. And now everybody's becoming a fucking investigator and looking at every single little, and I don't know. It's just, to me, sorry. Just to go back on that point of why people are pushing for the championship to be taken away is because they want that in our legacy for the generations to come, for 100 years down the line. You know, once this blows over into, you know, our kids and then their kids, maybe the story won't be told the same and it'll be a lot less important or whatever. But then you look back in the Wikipedia, let's say Wikipedia still exists, right? Or whatever, guess what? It's still going to show that the Houston Astros were the 2017 champions.
Yeah.
And if there's nothing as far as a discrepancy, an official discrepancy to say that it was revoked or whatever, then nobody's going to think otherwise. You know, I'm pretty sure there'll still be a page on like the scandal, but you'll have to dig a little deeper to find that. So I think the whole point of why people are asking for it to be taken away is because they want that definitive, like, there's no way to go around it. You think of the Astros, you think of that huge, you know, black mark on what was that season. So I see that, but I don't think it does. You know, to me, I don't think it does anything. I look at us now as we're already tarnished. I mean, you look at how everybody is talking about us, and the attention that we're given. I don't think that it's necessary to a point that we, you know, that I don't. I'm not at the point where I'm not confident that we can't come back as a team. Not at all. And I think we're better than that. And I think that's for me right now. Whereas I wish that the Astros would do a little better as far as damage control. And I understand as far as
that's the one mark I have.
I am okay with you standing, you know, by your word and defending your players, but I still think that there's a more graceful way of doing things. And, you know, just can't help but compare it to. But when you talked about specifically, whenever Colin Kaepernick had his workout, and then, you know, right after that workout, he was very vocal about coming out and then being very aggressive to the media. And it's not that we didn't understand where he was coming from, but you look at the perception, right?
Right.
And you look at it as like, man, think about how this makes you look. Think about the bigger picture. Why are you in the position that you are, right? So now you think about the Astros, you think about Correa, you think about the rest of the players, AJ Hinch or whoever is like being held in the spotlight now. And it's like, are you doing the best thing for the organization and for yourself right now? Or are you just making us look worse?
I think there's too many handlers, because what it seems like to me is when you bring up the fact that the Astros, first of all, I don't believe that the Astros should be, their title be taken away. I think it does nothing. But going back to what I was saying about the way they handle their press and stuff is, that somebody will say we have the fan fest here in Houston, right? Then they'll tell a player, you can't talk, right? Don't mention anything. Just say it's in the report. Then AJ Hinch talks a little bit, and then he'll revert to it's in the report. So you get that weird, like, open-ended questions or answers and honest answers, but at the same time with something that maybe isn't as definitive, he would shut down. And then you have this whole apology tour that was weird in itself, right? And you have the owner coming out and said he doesn't think that the cheating or the sign stealing affected the game. And then when they called him out on it, and he's like, what do you mean it doesn't affect the game? He's like, I never said that. I never said it didn't affect the game. And you know,
that's already two strikes right there to
exactly,
me. You know?
Exactly. But that goes back to your
it's already
perception.
the wrong way to go about it. And, you know, like, I know if Chris were here, that he would be having a huge point about it, and he would defend me or, you know, back me up on this too. But it's just, don't get
people that aren't here to back you up.
No, I don't think I need him to, but I'm just saying, you know
man,
him.
Shout out to Chris, baby. When you ready, bro, we got you. Anyways,
it's you know, why even say that? You know, I think at that point it's like, look, you already got caught or whatever. Like, who cares? Let the people decide that. And I think whether we needed it or not, you know, because if we don't mention that at all, and then let's say all this blows over and people can go back and analyze, and I'm like, wow, maybe they didn't really need that. But it's like the fact that you're saying it now, I'm not rooting for you anymore. You know what I mean?
That should have been done at the the Fan Fest. All that should have been done. You know why? Because you get it done and over with, right? But they didn't think of that. They waited for perception to be like, oh, y'all look so bad. So then they make this whole weird.
We already did. There was never a moment where we didn't look bad, and that's what pissed me off. And I'm like, where are like, get your fucking brains together and see that like we're in a bad spot. Get us out of it. Don't dig the hole more.
Well, yeah, exactly. They keep on like, and not only do they dig it a little bit more to me,
but then they're pushing back,
bringing it back up.
They're pushing back on people for, but essentially just doing their jobs. Of course, it's going to seem like paparazzi where they're poking and prodding, and yes, unfortunately, that's what it's going to be like for now until probably fucking forever. At least until the season is not even starts, but probably at least until we prove ourselves, and even then. Yeah, you could already hear now all the doubters and naysayers. We could be the fucking first in the MLB all the way through the All-Star break and even further, and people are still going to doubt us. They're still going to question whether we're doing things the right way and whatever. I can already hear it now. Like, yes, but the most important thing to me right now is public opinion, and that should be,
so what would you do though? What would you do when you say that? What would you do?
I just think, okay, when you hear these things, when you hear these interviews, and when you see the players and whoever talk, like from your perspective, what do you think? Do you believe them? Do you think they're genuine?
I'm confused. Even through reading the report, even through all
that's already not a good sign.
Right. I'm confusing as to what, because if I'm not mistaken, they named Altuve outright in the report. Right? Why do you think that Altuve is apologizing? Why do you think that Alex Bregman is apologizing?
They named him, but they also, I think, said that he was one of the ones that was using it the least, or not, or he didn't want to use it. He was one of the ones that was supposedly very vocal about.
But Correa comes out and defends that. So like Altuve, I'm kind of confused as to what he did exactly, what he didn't, and that's not it's not the problem. But here's my best advice to Astros, and I don't get me wrong, and I say this with all love and with the best intentions in mind, right? Play baseball. Shut the fuck up. Just play the game. Don't respond to people talking. I understand that we're all human beings and we want to defend our honor, our valor, our merits and everything. I get that, but if you keep talking, it's gonna keep going. And this has come from a little ball, and it's snowballed further and further because you guys are still pushing the ball too, and it's becoming just damn near an avalanche at this point. And so, don't get me wrong. You've apologized, and people will sit there and they'll criticize your apology, even though it was weird or whatever. But you apologize. Everybody was calling for you to apologize, and you apologize, and they criticize your apology. I get it, but that's my point. Whatever you do, you will be criticized for it. So just be quiet and for whatever time that it takes for it to kind of die down, and it may not die down all year long, but you're gonna have to bite the bullet, just grin and bear it. That's all you can do. And then next year, when we don't have this bullshit, we can actually make another run to the title or whatever. And then, in all honesty, when you have everybody's eyes watching you, because you can't do it this year. Not to say you can't win a championship, but you can't win a championship and not have people criticize that championship and even have a doubt if that's a valid championship again, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. But next year, when it's all died down and we actually go for another championship, say we actually win it, we will actually have the public perception of us winning clean. I'm sorry, guys, but this year it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, this will be last thing I say about it, but more so my perception on the whole public opinion. I agree with you to a certain extent. I do think we probably now more than ever, we are at a point where we probably should shut the fuck up. And of course, I wish that we had done things differently up until this point as far as how we've handled it. And why I'm so adamant about public opinion is because when you think of the 2017 Astros, you think of a very specific thing. You think of a very like you think of just the story of how they were like the hometown heroes. You think of Hurricane Harvey and how they really were, what kind of really brought the city. The one universal thing that brought the city together, or one of the few things, probably the strongest thing that brought the city together, and more or less like we were like the lovable sweethearts of probably not only baseball but just the sports world.
Right.
When I look back on like the only other team that I usually ever root for, ironically, besides the Astros, is the Red Sox. And why I fell in love with the Red Sox such a long time ago is because they were that same persona, with the Yankees being their rival. And I always hated the Yankees. They're such these clean cut and very, like you couldn't have a beard. Things were so strict. It just didn't seem like, they just didn't seem like they had any personality, So of course I hated to see, like Johnny Damon go from the Red Sox to and whatnot. But when I looked at like the Red Sox, that was like, they were so fun loving. And, this went back when they won their 2004 to kill that drought. I fell in love with that team because of what they represented and who they were persona wise. Right. Look at the 2017 Astros. I saw the same thing. They were such a young group, first of all, but then also just fun loving. And of course, you're not thinking about cheating. You're not thinking about anything. So you just think like, damn, they're fucking good. But not only that, they seem like a genuinely good group of guys. And now with all this shit coming out, of course, the scandal and whatnot, it's like you question that. You question their integrity.
Unfortunately.
You question their integrity, but not only for the game of baseball, but just as men, right? And that's where I'm like, okay, look, you fucked up your mark as far as how the baseball world is gonna view you and how what the outcome was. But the least you could do yourself now is, like, don't talk about, and I wish they would, like, don't talk about how well we're going to do.
Right.
Like, don't sit there, like, I mean, I love Altuve, but he's sitting there saying, like, oh, don't worry, we'll still be there next year. And I'm like, don't fucking say that, And I was like, why? Like, because now, if we fucking go in and we're dead last, like, now you look even more stupid or whatever, And it's just, don't talk about what you think is going to happen as far as how we're going to do. If we do, let the playing speak for itself. And that's what, as far as shutting the fuck up, I wish they would shut the fuck up about that. But I wish that they would at least be more genuine and sincere about what they did. Because so much has come out now, it's very hard to just stand there and just flat out deny shit, right? So that's not going to work. And obviously, I'm pretty sure that's not the truth. So just own up to, you don't have to sit there and fucking detail everything you did, but at least just come out and flat out say, I was like, hey,
don't admit
we
the
fucked up. Whatever. I don't know about that, right?
It's a joke.
Yeah,
we went back and forth last week about it, but
I was gonna say something, but then he buzzed me real quick. I was like,
you know what pitch was coming.
So I just wish they would just.
I'm sorry.
I wish they would just come out and genuinely say like we fucked up, and but see, we fucked up. I'm sorry that
are they gonna do it? Because they've done it 3 or 4 times already.
Yeah,
just do it
but
once
I don't know if I
be
felt
over.
that really be genuine, and it's
That's
not.
a problem.
But it's not for anybody else besides the city and the fans.
That's it.
That's the only people right now that I think that really matter. And it's like, dude, the whole world is gonna hate us. The whole world outside of Houston is gonna hate us anyway. Let them hate.
Imagine it's your wife or whatever. How would you apologize to her if you like I don't know, you fucked up somehow. You forgot to take the dishes out or whatever. Put the dishes up. And that's a horrible analogy, but still, imagine there's nobody else that you're apologizing to, but you want to be sincere enough to apologize to her. But if everybody else sees how sincere you're apologizing to her, in our case, you're apologizing to the city of Houston, everybody will understand that. Yeah. And the public perception will be, okay, they feel remorse. They feel sincere. Yeah. They're apologetic and everything. But what they're doing is they're apologizing to everybody else and not apologizing to the city.
Because I don't care if the rest of the world thinks that would be like bullshit, because it may, and it probably will be. If you come out flat out say, like, I'm sorry, like we fucked up, and then kind of like provide your reasoning and your backing for it. They say like we didn't think that it really affected much, but we understand how that it may be perceived that it did. We just wanted to do right by the city. We wanted to bring in a championship, and I believe that we did it the right way. But we broke the rules and da da da. It's just like I feel like there's ways.
Wow, you said it really good.
There's ways
you
to
said
go
it
about
better
it.
than you should actually do a little damage control.
Well, I mean, I talked. I don't know if I mentioned it last time, but Rich Eisen did a great little bit where he, kind of felt the same sentiment, and he actually drafted up and wrote out like an apology letter, said it word for word, and said, Astros, you need to take my apology letter as is, sign it, and send it to the MLB and have that be official apology letter, and then just be done with it. And it's straight to the point. It's poignant, and it's like that's it. That's everything that you need to hear. No, it's really good. And what he says is it's really just it's almost not exactly what I said, but basically the same sentiment. You man up, you admit what you did. You admit that you realize that it's wrong, but you have to admit what you did, and then apologize to the people that really truly matter, where it's our fans in our city, because that's the last people that you want to lose. If we lose that, then it's over. I think that it's all lost. I don't care about the championship, but if you lose the Houston fan base, then
last question: how do you feel like the turnout will be going forward? Do you think that we've lost fans? Because I don't necessarily feel like we've lost fans.
I'll be honest. I think Houston is, and I hate to criticize us like this, but I think we're kind of a fickle fan base anyway.
Really?
And maybe I'm just being a little more harsh or judgmental as someone who has been a fan for a long time. I've seen kind of fans come and go.
Yeah.
But I think that is also
a
very high possibility as well, that a lot of this won't be. I don't want to say wouldn't be affected. I would say you might lose a couple of fans, but more so, I feel like they'll still be there. If anything, now this is just another point of interest, if anything, to bring people out to want to cheer more. And I feel like if any fan base would do that, Houston would. We'd stand behind our team, because I think that like I just bringing it back to the impact of whatever they did for the city in 2017, and how like Amir even mentioned it earlier too. It's just like, I don't need to hear anything else. I don't need to know anything else about. And it's almost like a blind ignorance, if you will, in that sense, where it's like, no, I'm gonna back my team because I've seen what good it can do for me and my my
opinion on that, dude. But
what?
Oh,
What is your opinion?
I think everybody does it, so I don't care. Like I don't.
No,
I'm not gonna. It's not blind ignorance for me, because it's like we got caught. Yes, accept it. It is what it is. We man up. Apologize for
everybody
it.
does
Be
it.
remorseful, right?
But the difference is the publicity and the amount of heat that are on us compared to any
100%,
other.
But like you brought it up too. Dallas. I mean, excuse me. Boston. Yankees. No, I think actually Amir brought it up. Yankees and Boston.
Yeah.
They got fined for similar situations, but at that point it wasn't a big deal. But now we did it, and don't get me wrong, we took it to the next level, and everything that's come down has been deserved. I can't lie, but it's not like we were the end all be all. Like it didn't start with us and didn't end with us, in my opinion.
Yeah, and the true difference is how it's been perceived by everybody else and in media, and how much attention it's gotten. And I think that is the one thing that is different from any other scandal, at least in the last 20, 30 years of sports.
Right. But I like the way I feel, and the way say a Boston Red Sox fan would feel if that would have happened to their franchise or team, they would feel the same way I felt, or something similar. They're not gonna back away from their team because of the said situation that we have.
You didn't abandon Barry Bonds?
No.
Right.
I think Barry Bonds is the greatest player that ever laced up a pair of cleats, baseball cleats. I mean, before and after.
And I've heard you say that. So in that same light, like through, I guess, what happened with him, like what was your kind of train of thought as a fan, and when all that started coming out?
Yeah, this is probably the most difficult take that I can feel like is gonna bring me the most heat when I say this, but I feel like all the PEDs and stuff, as long as it's not physical contact where you're going to fight somebody, all PEDs, steroids, whatever you want to call it, should be legal.
Woo!
And it's not like, okay, I'm not saying break the law because certain steroids are illegal, but say you got HGH or hormone therapy or whatever, under the doctor's supervision, go for it. At the end of the day, just like sign stealing, just like steroids, and everybody's trying to get that edge. Everybody's trying to get that edge. But if you start trying to say, oh, you can't sign steal because we got technology that's available, but you can't use it, then what's the point of having the technology? You're actually trying to put basically the genie back into the bottle when you say that we have replay, we have computer screens in the dugout, we have all these things, but we actually have microphones, we actually have wireless speakers that we can put into QB helmets that get banged every day, but we can't put it in a catcher because we're so worried about the interception of communications. Make a communication that's like basically code for just where you're not doing blatant hand movements that is basically sign language for anybody to read if you want to break that code. So yeah. I think that what we're doing as far as baseball is concerned, as far as technology is concerned, we're going backwards, and we it's too late. Obviously, the Yankees started it. From what I can tell, what I've read, with I believe his name is Chris Young, brought it to Boston, right? Boston implemented it, brought it to the Astros. Not Chris Young, but from Boston they had the Apple Watches. Then the Astros with I believe Carlos Beltran brought it to another level, took it back to Boston, and they're using it. So it's like this progressive thing of us taking advantage of technology, right? Where we're of course the technology is getting better, so they use it to their advantage. Now we're saying like, oh, we can't do that because even though the technology is out there, nobody else is gonna cheat. Come on now, come on. If it's all based on competition and everybody's trying to find that edge, ask the Patriots. They've done it so many times.
I was just gonna say, I wonder if Jim Crane just called up, hey Bill, hey Bill Belichick, like what?
Bro, they should have asked him. Kraft, what do you do? It's like they're like Teflon. The Patriots have been under so many different situations, scandals and Spygates, and they had one last freaking year, last year, and nothing. And Boston Red Sox fans, Yankee fans, have the audacity to come at us.
Yeah,
get out of here, man. I'm sorry.
Maybe they're just mad because Tom Brady's not coming back. So
right.
So maybe this is their karma. But
man, I get frustrated starting to talk about this. But
yeah. Well, I mean, okay. So I'll just ask you one thing. Like, I guess generally speaking, what is the true way you see baseball becoming a clean sport? No, clean is like I guess kind of a loaded word.
Listen,
but in your eyes, like, I think you're more old school, lax. Whereas like everyone, if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
No, but those aren't the rules. Like
you
gotta follow the rules.
Yeah,
like rules are in place for a reason, right?
Okay.
So until the day
but
comes,
then in
like
that
we can
same
all
light,
smoke weed. I'm not gonna tell, hey, let's all smoke weed. Don't give me. I don't want you to break the law.
Okay.
So when with that being said, with MLB, like we got to play by the rules. But I do see walkie-talkies, or not walkie-talkies, but like two-way communication between pitcher and catcher, coach will happen. It's like inevitable because again, you bring up the whole fact of technology. But
yeah, I mean, I don't see how that's already being used in NFL without any hitches, and why is that not being used in baseball?
I don't know. I couldn't tell.
And you got college football with the huge signs with all the different memes and pictures and stuff, and it's like, that's on TV to where it's like if I tried, I could probably try to
You know
disciple
what?
that. But
it's funny because you asked me, well, how do you get it clean, bro? At the end of the day, we'll figure out how to clean up sign stealing. We'll figure out how to clean up steroids in the game. But you know what? We're not thinking about something else in the future that they're gonna figure out on their own. It's gonna be something else where, like,
yeah,
the I don't know, the catcher is blocking the view of the umpire. You know, where he can't tell if it's a ball or strike or something, or they'll manipulate some. I couldn't even tell you. But in the future, there's gonna be some way, some form of bending the rules that we can't foresee just yet. But it's gonna happen. It's in the name of getting that edge and being competitive.
So, I'll ask you this: do you think that, from just like a broad standpoint, that this scandal was good for the game of baseball?
No, I think that Astros have handled it horribly. I think baseball has handled it horribly. I think that it's actually hurt the game in a sense of tarnishing.
I think the outcome is going to be better than I think baseball. MLB is probably going to have better ratings than ever. I think so.
No,
because now people are excited and tuned in about the cheating Astros and what they're going to do and how they're going to look. I think so. I think that's how it's going to be, and I don't think that was the intention of when this started. I think it started as one thing and one little investigation, and then it grew into the avalanche that you talked about. But I think when it comes down to it, when baseball starts, everyone is going to be tuned in.
Here's why I say I would.
I think we are going to get like I said, the brunt end of it. Like we said from the beginning, we're going to have the ones that we're going to be the ones that have to take the fucking heat and to be on the end of the hammer coming down on us. But I think baseball is going to actually profit off of this.
Here's where I disagree. First of all, baseball is behind NFL and NBA, right? So,
well, I'm not saying they're going to overtake them.
No,
I'm just saying I think they're going to
that.
profit.
But when baseball was at its highest was when Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire going basically yard for yard, trying to break the home run record, right? So right after that is when all the steroid stuff went down.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Baseball today has more home runs hit per team, per game, per week, per month than it's ever had in the history of baseball. But we don't know that because baseball hasn't recovered from the steroid scandal. Now, the more we tarnish, say we would take away the trophy from the Astros, we're tarnishing the trophy. We're tarnishing the championship, not just for the Astros. And this is why I don't agree.
We're tarnishing the league.
We're tarnishing the league because what happens if I said they're going to figure out a way that they're going to bend the rules and something else happens? The first thing that everybody's going to want to do, take away that championship. The next year, take away that championship. And every year, it's just going to build on just vacated championships. Whether you give it to the Dodgers or the Red Sox or Yankees or not,
that's not happening.
Doesn't matter.
No.
You're tarnishing the value of the championship that's supposed to be the best in the world. The players that come from every square inch of the globe to play in the best league of baseball in the entire world. And so when it comes down to it, I don't see how this scandal, we'll move on from it, but it won't be something that we gain publicity for as far as like fandomship and stuff. It just, I think that more people will be galvanized to be against us. Like maybe,
well, that's what I mean. I think there would be more viewership because of people that
I'd be surprised
root against us, and then they become, as a byproduct, fans of other teams and whatnot. And I think that we may win over fans that we might have not had before because of this potentially. No, I think so.
How?
You just have to see how the season plays out. What if we come out and we actually are fucking on fire and we actually do well?
You think we'll gain fans?
Yeah, because I think we've lost some now.
I would think we would gain more skeptical.
You know how many people root for the heel or the enemy? Why do you think that even exists?
I think the worst thing.
Why do you think the heel exists in wrestling?
If the Astros for baseball, right? The worst thing that can happen is the Astros bomb go first place by like 20 games within 3 months of the season. Like
I mean,
people-
I can see what you're saying. I agree with that. I don't see that happening.
Yeah,
like,
no.
but if we come out and we're on fire, oh man, everyone's just gonna be like, I don't know what to think now.
Right,
You know,
right.
because I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I
Well.
can see the headlines now. Nobody's gonna give us credit. This is gonna be a topic for the next year and a half, whether we like it or not. Blah blah blah. It's just gonna get press and social media and John Boy and everyone are just fucking on it and Yes Network and all that. But anyway, it's us against the world as always.
It's really
As
does.
you know,
really
and
feels like
we
that.
can never really truly have a championship here. I guess we had to we had to win 2 championships with the Rockets while Jordan was out, and that in itself was a huge scandal on its own. Whether that's really publicized or not, but that's actually been getting a lot more press now.
What?
About why Jordan had to leave
Oh,
because
yeah.
he's basically forced out because of
I've
his
heard about
gambling
that. Have you-
issues,
yeah, I think it's something like
which
along-
is
Same
sad. But
thing
that's
with
you
Pete Rose.
see, but that's like a swept under the rug to kind of save face, right? Save Jordan's face, but also save the NBA's face.
See, I didn't believe that until the press conference where he announces his retirement. They started asking him questions. He literally said,
If
the NBA will have
let
me
me
back,
or
Right,
have
right.
me back. Yeah. Why? Yeah. What?
I think it's
Exactly.
actually what you said. If the NBA will let me back,
Yeah.
I'll be happy to come back,
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
that was.
And I was like, that's a very weird comment. I think that kind of slipped, but that was how they swept it on the rug. And I'm wondering if MLB is kind of doing the same thing.
I'm like I said, my advice is to the Astros is shut the fuck up. There you go. I'm a with that.
Exactly. Jordan shut the fuck up, and he came back and won 3 straight. So if we can shut the fuck up,
Yeah.
I'll take 2 bad years. We come back and win 3 championships straight, the 3-peat,
There you
whatever.
go. There you go. This has been the Sports Chat Podcast. My name is John Trapp, Mr. Khoa. I know we're running a little long on time. Real quick, I wanted to see. So you have Brady, basically a free agent. You have who else?
Oh, Mr. Rivers.
Yeah,
Philip Rivers.
Phillip Rivers basically becoming a free agent. Drew Brees is still undecided. Let me ask you, Tom Brady. They're saying out of Boston and New England, they don't even want Brady back.
I don't think so. Okay, so real quick, I just found a list right here. Drew Brees, Dak Prescott, Tom Brady, Philip Rivers, Ryan Tannehill, Amari Cooper, Chris Jones, Anthony Harris. Man, it's a lot of names. But you see the big brunt of it, especially the first names listed are all quarterbacks, and I think that this year more than ever, you have big name quarterbacks that have been in the league for a long time coming free agents at the same time, and
But like 15 plus though, 15 years
yeah,
plus.
yeah. And I mean, I think just the name Tom Brady alone already shakes things up.
Yeah.
Because it's.
But I think
it's
he's
Tom
the one
Brady.
that has to. If it's not Dak Prescott, because he's not the one of the old heads, but like Tom Brady is the first big domino. Once Tom
Yeah,
Brady
yeah,
makes
yeah.
his decision, and we see everybody else will kind of start falling in line.
So what? Do they just switch places?
I can see that.
Everyone's
See,
already
you know
talking
what?
about
I've
Brady
never
going
heard
to
that.
the Cowboys.
Everybody.
But how would Dak do?
Don't do that. Do not mitigate. When I first said this almost a month ago, now everybody's talking about it. But
No, I heard about it then too.
What?
Oh, not from everybody, but I heard it. You weren't the first. I'm sorry. Actually, yeah, no, John. Oh my God. I can't believe you.
Actually, didn't hear from anybody. I started putting two and two
No,
together.
I did hear about it. It wasn't like, oh man,
what it is
breaking
now.
news.
Right.
But it was very much so the topic of like a couple of different, what if.
Right.
I mean, there's a couple of shows I follow. Pat McAfee actually is a great podcast and a great show.
Yeah, like
he
it.
is great inside points and things, and he did bring that up around that time that we did that as well. And I heard him talk about like what would happen if Tom
I'm
Brady
gonna put
went to-
our timelines together. Let me see if that's true.
I would hit.
But
I would hate to
that's
see
the
it,
first
but it's
time I
also
heard
just
though that
exciting.
they would switch places. That's kind of like something I would be really interested in. Say like Tom Brady goes to Dallas.
Oh, don't get
and
me
then
wrong.
Amari Cooper
I'd
goes
be
to
interested
New
in
England.
seeing any of this happen. Of the switches happen. Let's say, all the free agents and just to seeing them all kind of swap different places. It's just exciting, And if it's gonna happen anyway, just where are you gonna go? Like where's Tom Brady gonna end up? Where's Dak Prescott gonna? Drew Brees. I can't imagine Drew Brees playing for another team besides
I know
the Saints.
that's the weirdest
that I
one.
really can't
like
imagine.
I've come to terms with Tom Brady being on another team. Drew Brees, I still haven't.
Yeah, I'll say the same thing about Phillip Rivers.
No, I've heard something about Phillip Rivers that.
Well,
that
I'm
his
not saying it's not
running back
possible.
actually
Obviously,
said-
it's going to happen. But the fact that, I think when I first heard news, but that was when I was, for whatever reason, I was more shocked by hearing that than I was about Tom Brady. Because I think Tom Brady, you heard it going into the postseason already. I mean, you already kind of saw you saw
the writing on the wall.
Yeah, and you saw the Clark Kent in him throughout the season, where he wasn't Superman, where it was like, man, Tom Brady's not doing as well.
Wow.
What's going to happen? We talked about it in our own podcast, saying like, what if this is it? What if this is the end of the Brady Belichick era? And lo and behold, it might very well be very soon, or pretty much already, right? But I never once thought that about Phillip Rivers. And not to say that Phillip Rivers is like he is invincible either, where he should not ever leave. I was gonna say San Diego, leave the Chargers, but for as long as I forget how long he's been in the league, but that's been their franchise quarterback since he's been there. And when the news broke, and I just started seeing all of the tributes and things from Chargers pages and just Chargers fans pages, and just giving tribute and say thank you to Phillip Rivers and whatnot. And it was just, I couldn't help but get a little more, because I feel like something like that, and maybe because they are not a winning team like someone like the Patriots is, I don't give a shit if fucking Tom Brady leaves the Patriots. It's just more exciting. Now it adds more parity to the game. You break up the, you know what I mean? Like when I heard
dynasty.
When I heard KD leaving the Warriors, I didn't give a shit. Like, fuck, cool. Hell yeah. You know what I mean? I don't want him to go there in the first place. But yeah, hearing Tom Brady leave the Patriots, cool. That's exciting. What, do I really care? Nah. But hearing Phillip Rivers, I was like, whoa. Now, I respect that a lot, because I love Phillip Rivers. I think he's always been an elite level quarterback that just has never,
had the team,
had the team or had the whole package put together in a way that it was going to take him all the way. And he's had some great players with him. And whatnot,
how much I appreciate the Colts organization, even though they're a rival for the Texans.
Andrew Luck coming back?
Huh?
Is Andrew Luck coming back? I hear a lot of that too.
No. Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, but they're saying that the Colts are going to go hard at Phillip Rivers. How do you see that pairing if it would have happened?
Yeah, so it's always weird when you think about, especially the timeline of things of these quarterbacks, or just players in general, but quarterbacks, I guess specifically, because they are the player that you build everything around, when they are that far into their career, and how much you're going to invest in them, because you always have to think of your team and longevity and what's going to happen moving forward. So
I'm telling you, the Dallas Cowboys need to think about tomorrow. They got 2 more years to have this team, and that's it.
Yeah,
and that's a perfect situation with Tom Brady going in, because he only has 2 more years, in my opinion. One more year at a semi-elite level.
And maybe that's exactly what the Denver Broncos are thinking with Peyton Manning.
Exactly.
They're like, okay, like they got
a championship.
We got a chance. Let's get this man in
here. You
here.
don't have to put so much money into maybe the Dallas Cowboys, because Tom Brady's going to look for some money. But I don't think Phillip Rivers will ask them.
I don't know if people realize this. Tom Brady has never been like a top paid quarterback. Not even, I don't think, top 5 in his entire career.
He's always restructured.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. He's been paid.
No, he's been paid, but he's never been the one to have those crazy contracts. And you look at how much he's paid, it's like, wow, that's actually very fair.
It's also like, okay, Michael Vick gets $60 million for actually I thought it was like $100 million, but like 45 of it was guaranteed. Tom Brady gets 47, all guaranteed.
That's fair
Michael
too.
Vick
And
never
maybe,
saw
maybe
that
how
$100
it's
million
structured.
contract.
Yeah.
So I mean that it's all relative, but yeah, I see what you're saying. But Phillip Rivers on the Colts intrigues me a lot.
No,
I think that the Colts have a
me.
great team.
Yeah.
And they just needed a. I'm sorry, Kobe Brissett just isn't the answer. And Phillip Rivers, and if you're the Colts, to me, you got another 2 years. Go at it, man. If you can get a championship out of it,
you know what I heard too, and we talked about it when we talked about XFL. But Taysom Hill has come out and said he wants to be a star. He wants to be a franchise quarterback somewhere. And
he threw 11 passes. I'm joking.
I know,
but like. How
do you see any way that they would let's say Breeze is out, they would take him over Teddy Bridgewater to be the starter?
If it's emotional, yeah, because he did so much. He was special teams. He was a wide receiver. He was a running back.
I don't see it. I don't. But then he can't do that once he's the quarterback. That's the thing.
He's
and
like
he's
6'7".
He's such a special, but he's such a special player, a unique player. Where it's like, I think that's what he wants, but I think where he has shined thus far is being like the dual, triple, quadruple threat, right? Whereas Teddy Bridgewater actually had a really good showing whenever he was given the spotlight. Yeah,
undefeated.
Did really well. So I don't see how they don't go with Bridgewater. And then let's say
hey, you're a smart GM. You're not biased in it.
I love Taysom, but I don't know, because now the pressure isn't in for you to convert these crazy trick plays. Now the pressure is for you to have the entire team on your back for an entire 16-game season and potentially playoffs. Can you do that?
But can Teddy Bridgewater move like Taysom Hill? That's the thing. Like now we're moving into an era of mobile quarterbacks. Like you want to have somebody but I don't know. Like I need to see him.
I think he's had a good showing thus far, enough to have them put their trust and their money in him. But that's another exciting thing to figure out what's going to happen as far as them moving forward. But it'll be an exciting season.
This is the Sports Trapp Podcast. My name is John Trapp. Khoa, man, I really wanted to get into the XFL, but we'll get into it a little bit more. I'll
we got a long season ahead. We got 8 more weeks.
JP Walker MVP, undefeated. Houston Roughnecks.
Houston's only undefeated, undisputed team right now.
Actually, I want to try to get to a game this year.
Yeah,
like that looks like a fun atmosphere. It's a good product on the field. Looks like an exciting, from what I can tell.
When you start the
talent on both sides.
The Houston rough Rowdies.
I like that. That's a good one. But yeah, man.
Do they have mascots? Do we have a mascot?
I don't know.
What would it be? What is a roughneck? I don't know. Just
a random
some guy named Bucky in a cowboy hat. Drinking a Coors Light. I don't know.
That's a good point. I wonder if they have mascots at all.
Or like cheerleaders or I forget when I watch. I forget if I saw any of that.
But like I just feel like they got to keep building. As long as they can keep building, yeah.
Well, as long as and we've said it before, as long as the product of the game itself stays interesting and actually a good product, then I'm not worried about how XFL is going to do. So,
like I said,
I love watching football, and I miss it every time Super Bowl's over. So I'm glad we still get our dose in with XFL with a team that we actually get to root for in Houston. So I'm glad, out of the 8 markets that we got one. So
yeah. I'm shoot. But like I said, we'll get into it a little bit more next week. I'll dedicate a little segment to it because I really, really like what we have so far. So yeah, man. Appreciate the Red Rowdies for showing up, showing love. Man, I can't say enough for them blessing us with their presence and their time. I know everybody has a long work week and it's barely Monday, so go figure. But Khoa, good show, baby. Doing this once a week. Try to be giving you people what what I think the city of Houston deserves, man. All truth, no bias,
No buzzers.
no bias.
Oh shit.
All right, we out. Peace.
Yeah.